We're thundering towards the MotoAmerica AMA-FIM North American Road Race Championship. This round is MotoAmerica Superbikes at Texas, in Austin, Texas, at the famed Circuit of the Americas for Mission King of the Baggers, race number 2 of our 6th round of this championship. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Mission King of the Baggers, Jason, is as tight as you like it, and we saw so far this weekend a change of the guard up top of the championship.
Yes, we did. It's our tightest battle here at MotoAmerica is the Baggers, and Kyle Wyman made it difficult for himself to try to keep himself up in the front of this championship until yesterday, Greg. Yesterday here at COTA, he got the start that he needed, and this guy, once he gets to the lead, he's putting down the laps. He has proven, Greg, that he's got just a little bit more pace than everybody else, and at the beginning, you saw Hayden Gillum and James Rispoli on their Vance and Hines Harley-Davidsons give some chase, and you'll see Bobby Fong there in 4th place. He would be a factor in this race too, because he'd fall back and he'd continue to try to roll up on these guys until this, Greg. He crashed with about 3 laps or 2 laps to go, and that was the end of Bobby Fong's day as he was making a charge to get to the front. He still had a chance and still does have a chance for the championship, but now he's made it difficult for himself. Here you see Kyle Wyman come across the line ahead of Hayden Gillum and Rispoli and takes over the championship points lead.
And in warm-up this morning, Kyle Wyman was faster than everybody by over a second. But looking at this championship, on the back of 6 wins for Kyle Wyman, 197 to 195 and 188. Tyler O'Hara, on the other hand, he's not technically out of this championship in points as there's 75 available, but the chances are pretty slim. But it's all about racing here at Circuit of the Americas. Jason, tell us about this road course.
Yeah, it's a great track, Greg, as you go up this real steep hill into a tricky turn number 1, down through those S's to turn 11, another very tight left-hander that takes you onto that back straightaway. That back straightaway heads into another very tight left at the end of that, into kind of what we call the stadium section here at COTA. And then 16, 17, and 18, you spend a lot of time on the right side of the tire, off into turn 19, and then turn 20, where we saw Bobby make his mistake yesterday, to a very short run to the checkered flag.
Circuit of the Americas, where MotoGP and Formula One race. But how about the number 1 plate? Your national champ is trying to get his 6th podium of the weekend. Can he get it done?
Three races to go in this championship, Roger. 75 points on the line. It's by far from done, but boy, is it a close battle.
I'm interested to see if Hayden Gillum is able to take the grid. We've seen in that Superbike race, engine let go the race before, the oil blown out on his leg.
They did take him to medical to get looked at.
They took him to medical to get looked at. So, I mean, that could be a huge twist in this, but I'm trying to look and see. It's kind of dark there, so it's hard to see, but hopefully he's able to make the grid.
I mean, that would be a huge development if he didn't. Coming in here, leading in the points, only 2 behind Kyle, and Rispoli only 7 behind Hayden. The top 3 covered by 9 points with this race and 2 more to go. Mission King of the Baggers, this championship is still afoot.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By Geico. Visit geico.com to see how easy covering your ride can be. And by Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson and custom V-twin motorcycles.
We're back at Circuit of the Americas as we look at Mission King of the Baggers out on the racetrack. 620-pound motorcycles. And Jason Pridmore, it's hot outside.
It is. 620 pounds always makes me smile because of how fast they go. It's amazing how fast they go. And we got Kyle Wyman, who's now leading the points after yesterday's race. He's got Hayden Gillum and Rispoli, his 2 title contenders, right next to him with Bobby Fong, O'Hara, and Travis Wyman outside of row 2. Then we got McWilliams, Owen and Corey West with Jake Lewis, Max Flinders, and Frankie Garcia. Then we have Hawk Mazzata, Robert Johnson, and Patricia Fernandez. So,
Jake Lewis.
You know this, yeah, Jake hasn't been feeling well, but he's I think he's out there trying to give it a go anyway. So we'll see.
Incredible. We know that we mentioned in warm-up this morning that Kyle Wyman was extremely fast. This is a 6-lap affair for Mission King of the Baggers race number 2. And this track being as physical as it is, Jason Pridmore, it's definitely going to take it out of you with this 99-degree temperature out there today.
Yeah, and I think that when you really look at it, the pace setter this weekend has been Kyle Wyman. He's been very fast. He did get beat in the Missions Challenge race yesterday by Bobby Fong, but for all these guys that are battling and trying to get a win here, you've got to get ahead of Kyle early. If he gets a good start and gets up into turn 1, these guys can stay with him a little bit, but he's able to grind out those laps super consistently. So let's see how the front row gets off the line here.
It's time for American Iron to get thunder in here. Lights go out, and we're gone. We're away racing, and it looked like Rispoli got a good launch off the front row. It's definitely not Kyle Wyman leading this.
Who went down the outside? Bobby Fong had a good start, and is it Kyle that he just, or is
it's the number 1 plate?
It is.
Wow. So Tyler O'Hara coming from 6th on the grid, swept around everybody, and it's just setting sail at the moment.
It is, yeah, and it looks like it's Bobby Fong in 2nd. I think it's hard for me to tell, but it looked like it was Bobby, and then I can see it's Rispoli there, or is it Jeremy McWilliams in 2nd? Is it the 2 Factory Indians, I think, that are actually leading the race right now? And then it looks like Rispoli is there with Hayden Gillum and Kyle Wyman. Kyle went from the pole position to 5th, so his race is going to be really interesting to watch now and see how the 33 is. He gets really loose. But, you know, as far as the championship goes, O'Hara has to win to basically keep his championship hopes alive. And look at the lead that number 1 has got. He's had a little bit of bad luck this weekend, as now you see Hayden Gillum slide up the inside of Jeremy McWilliams as they start to head down that back straightaway.
Look at the lead
he's
already.
Just gone. And now let's see, look at the Indian horsepower. Pulls up along the outside of Gillum. Gillum's got a lot of laps this weekend, as we know, so don't be surprised to see him try to go back up underneath. Nope. These guys are seeing that dry sweep from the first time from a race earlier, and it's Rispoli who goes down the inside, runs a little bit wide, and look at this battle for 2nd as O'Hara just doesn't care about any of that. He's just taking off.
7 riders in this group, all the while as the number 1 plate.
There's a couple bikes just got connected.
Is that Kyle?
Is it Kyle?
Kyle Wyman
hit the deck. Kyle Wyman. Wow.
That is massive.
That. Let's see if he can get this bike picked up. This is the hardest part.
Nice move
He's
by
got
Kyle.
that bike picked up, but he is now going to be fighting a points deficit as well, as he's got to get that bike and hopefully it can finish, as the 2 Vance and Hines Harleys now can really take a chance here. Let's see what happens. Kyle gets down. I'm just trying to look here. Nope.
Oh,
Kyle
contact.
ran into the side of, who is it there? It's hard to tell. It's Ownsorg, isn't it?
Is it Ownsorg? Yeah,
Ownsorg.
I think so.
Somehow
Yeah,
Kyle ended up, look at all the parts. Look at all the, and Kyle's, I don't know if he's got that bike up and running, Greg, to be honest.
No, I think he's not. They're trying, we are hearing that she's trying to get that bike started off in the distance, but these Vance and Hines Mission Harley-Davidsons, they're the ones that are in position right now to lead this championship. Wow. So Kyle Wyman had that 2-point lead, but now he's down on the racetrack, and we're hearing that he's got the bike going again. Now the interesting bit here, Jason, is this is what, 1 of 3 races left in the season.
Yeah.
There's 15 people in the race. So if Kyle can actually get back going, he might be able to score a point or 2, even though he's this far back.
Yeah. But how about, real quick, let's just give him some credit where it's due. Tyler O'Hara, 3.6 second lead at the start of this race. 3.6 seconds, and he's gone through the first split and pulled another 7/10 on everybody. You saw him disappear out of our screen there. Tyler's had extremely bad luck this weekend on the bagger. We saw a big crash out of him yesterday in turn 1 through no fault of his own, as we saw that chain snap and lock up the rear wheel and send him down. Then we saw him not be able to even get back out for the start of the race after the team worked feverishly to pick that bike and put it back together, and it just wasn't capable. Now he's got a problem. O'Hara has a problem as they go down into turn 11. He can't get the bike into gear. Oh, no, and now Williams runs wide, and the Vance and Hines Harleys with Bobby Fong. Bobby Fong was the guy that was down there a little bit wide.
Yeah, Bobby was.
Now you got the Vance Hines Harley-Davidson.
Rispoli takes over, so now all of a sudden the 43 Rispoli is leading this with all of the craziness that's going on the racetrack, and Rispoli is the one in the championship who's 9 points away from Kyle Wyman, and he's 7 points behind his teammate Hayden Gillum.
Yeah.
So it's Rispoli who really needs to have Bobby Fong in between himself and his teammate in the hopes for the championship. Jay, left part of your screen
he's
is the number one.
Searching for a gear. You can look at him, he's just looking for a gear as most as he can, best as he can, and it's just not going into gear. That Indian is just not going into gear. And just behind, you can see Bobby Fong and James Rispoli coming down into that corner. And this is your lead trio now, as Rispoli's going to lead him up into turn one. Let's see if Bobby Fong's going to try to take the long way around, see if he can make that work, as he is sideways. And he's got smoke. His bike is smoking now too. So now Bobby's got to be careful, as that Indian Challenger is smoking. He's going to go up the inside of Rispoli, but there's a lot of smoke coming out the right side of that motor, and these guys are going to see that right behind him. So what an eventful race we've had at the start here.
Bobby can't even keep it on the racetrack. He was on the green paint both times, going through that right and that left section.
And the worst part about this, honestly, is when you're following somebody and you see that smoke coming off the bike, and you could be guaranteed that if Rispoli or somebody was able to get by Bobby as he's trying to stretch it out on these guys, they're going to go by and tell him that, you know, your bike is smoking. There's an issue there. Travis Wyman, this is the best ride we've seen from him in a while too. He's doing everything he can to uphold factory Harleys, doing what they can, as you see Bobby getting in there deep. But look how much rear brake he used as he got closer to that apex of that corner. Now here you go, Greg. He's on the outside. That smoke there is from the rear tire, but look out the right side of the engine. You can see it.
Oh yeah, right behind that radiator, and there is plenty of smoke coming off of that. I think the AMA FIM is going to have to look at that. It wouldn't be surprised if a black flag comes out for Fong. But so far the bike continues to run, and Fong, sending it sideways, is comfortable that way. And right back of this group is the number 10 of Travis Wyman on the Screaming Eagle Harley-Davidson. So now you can really see a lot of the smoke coming out of Fong's bike.
And the riders behind, they want to keep charging, but it's so hard because you just are waiting for the thing to blow, or you're waiting for an oil line to come off. You're waiting for something to happen. And if it never happens, Bobby continues to pull away. But you're going to see these guys continue to back off behind him, because they don't want to be behind that thing if and when something does happen.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that now you have oil that's shooting on your windscreen. Hannah, what do you know about our fourth place rider, Travis Wyman?
Looking at the timesheets, you mentioned Kyle Wyman was fastest once again this morning, but Travis Wyman was second fastest out this morning. I talked to his crew chief, Wes Orloff, asking, you know, what has made the difference? He said they turned that bike upside down, and they think they finally found a setting that Travis is really comfortable on. It is certainly showing right now. He's not quite close enough to do anything at the moment, but he's looking to capitalize on if anything happens with these guys out in front of him. This could be huge, but looking down the charts, Kyle Wyman is still circulating with the fastest lap of the race at 2:17.4. So it seems like that bike is still working well. He's just got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he does, but they're right there as this bike continues to smoke.
Yeah, I just don't like seeing it.
No, after a 2:16.8, fastest lap of the race by Fong, but there's no way. I saw Rispoli look like he was trying to grab a tear off.
I think he was maybe trying to either tear off, or he's trying to tell them that obviously there's something going on. And the biggest thing you fear for here is just for Bobby. You know, you want to make sure that you stay safe, and it doesn't look like anything is making it to the surface just yet. So that's good. He's still got some time, as you can see that bike spinning up as he rolls it out of turn 9 and heads down towards turn 11 now.
I mean, I guess, Jay, it could be maybe an exhaust leak. You know,
I don't know. You know,
I mean, listen. You know, that's the thing. Where the smoke is coming from isn't a place that we would normally see on a traditional sport bike.
Yeah, and you can see just there, it's really interesting. Hayden Gillum takes a long look over his shoulder, and the factory Harley-Davidson to Travis Wyman made that look entirely too easy going past Gillum. So you almost start to think, is Gillum having a problem right now? Look how far back he's dropped just on that straightaway. The 79 looks like he's just dropping further and further back from this battle for second place, when you would think that right now he'd be doing everything he can to go forward, but he looks really tentative right now.
Yeah, the other thing to remember for Gillum is we actually saw him in a race earlier.
You did? Yeah, we did. Yep.
Where he had an engine expire and hot oil got into his right boot.
Yep.
he may be suffering some effects from that, not just the fatigue of the heat from racing 3 classes in the weekend. Hayden Gillum, who races Stock 1000, Medallia Superbike, and Mission King of the Baggers. As Bobby Fong continues to lead the way, 1.5 seconds.
Down.
Yeah, now he's looking down.
He just looked down and he sees some. Look at all the oil. You can actually see it. Look at all of his boot. So he thank goodness he looked down and saw that, because that bike's been leaking oil and it's all over his boot and it's all over everything on the right-hand side. He's obviously very, very, very frustrated. But it would be way more frustrating if he'd have gone down. Now this man, the guy that needs the win probably the most out of the 3 contenders, Rispoli, he's going to have to just take a look at his board now when he comes through. He had 1.1 over Travis Wyman in second, and for whatever reason Hayden Gillum has gone into kind of conservative mode to try to bring his bike home, because obviously he's fallen off the pace.
Bobby Fong very frustrated. He's had a very difficult weekend, and this would have been something that he could have taken home with him. I mean, he did have a $5,000 win in the challenge race earlier in the weekend, but beyond that, in the classes that he competes in, it hasn't been the best. But for James Rispoli, all focus for the Vance & Hines Mission Harley-Davidson team. For the 43, Hawks-Foley is nothing but a win. He's got a lap and a half to do it.
And he has struggled this weekend. This team came and tested as well. And when they showed up here, pretty much all their settings, their gearing, everything they came and they tested with wasn't working. And you know, I talked to team owner Terry Vance a little bit about that, and they put it to the fact that it's that much hotter here. It was zapping the horsepower out of these motorcycles, and it was changing the whole dynamics of the bike. So Vance & Hines Harley-Davidson is the team that has really been trying to bring it closer to the factory Harley bikes. He's got 2 very capable riders, obviously with Gillum, who has been leading the points, Rispoli, who we've seen win this year, and he's doing everything he can now. If Rispoli wins this race, it's going to be the 3rd different leader that we've had on the weekend. Hayden Gillum led coming in, Kyle Wyman led after yesterday, and James Rispoli would leave here with a 2-point lead over his teammate as they head towards New Jersey.
Still a long way to go, and the punishing heat on these twin motorcycles is taking its toll for some of these riders. Rispoli won the very first Mission King of the Baggers race of the season during the Daytona 200 weekend. He's been on the podium another 6 times after that. But for Rispoli, this would be the most timely of wins. The white flag awaits the number 43. So Rispoli comes across the stripe. He's got 3.4 miles and 20 corners to bring it home, Jason.
And a 1.6 second lead. So, you know, we've seen this guy. He's won championships in the past. We've seen him race over in England in both Superbike and Supersport. So for right now, this is a very experienced rider at the front who should be able to bring this bike home. And if so, man, not only do you get a race win, but you get to leave here with the points lead, going to a track in New Jersey that he knows very well.
Not only has he won road race national championships in his day, he's also an American flat track champion from just a couple of years ago. Just an absolute Swiss Army knife when it comes to riding a motorcycle. Extremely talented. And I know that there are people inside of our TV truck right now that if James Rispoli wins, they are dying to hear what Hawks-Foley is going to say in his post-race interview, because he is one of the most entertaining riders, personality-wise, we have in the paddock. But still, a lot of corners to negotiate for Hawks-Foley.
Yeah, he'll probably see if he just keeps his head down or has a look over his shoulder as he comes out of here. He's going to just get his head down behind that big bubble. Oh! Travis Wyman has crashed.
Wow.
That's going to shake up the points now, because Gillum is going to end up second and McWilliams. It's Kyle Onsorg. We haven't seen Onsorg, I don't believe, on the podium.
No, we have not.
Oh, for Travis, that's devastating for Travis, because he could have really just used a result here.
The best finish for Onsorg was yesterday, where he finished in 5th place. That's been his best finish of the season. For Kyle Onsorg, this would be big, but for Rispoli, he might have had the lead if Wyman didn't crash out. But now, because there's 7 points difference between himself and his teammate Hayden Gillum, and there's only 5-point difference between 1st and 2nd, this is the live championship if it ends like this right now, with them crossing the line, and Gillum would have a 2-point lead instead of Rispoli having that 2-point lead. Wow, so here comes James Rispoli. All he can do is hold his fate in his hand and bring this motorcycle home for his second win of the season in Mission King of the Baggers. He has a look over his shoulder, full throttle, takes the checkered flag, and Hog Spoley wins another one.
Man, and it's going to be a Vance and Hines Harley-Davidson 1-2 again. I think the last time we saw that, and look at his bike, almost looks like it's spoken as well.
And McWilliams ends up in third place. Wow. So it looks like Onsorg, no,
now it's corrected, saying Onsorg ends up. It is Onsorg. Congrats to him. He's going to end up third.
So Jeremy McWilliams fourth, and you can see that there's smoke coming out of his bike.
They're all smoking, Greg.
Dude, they're all smoking. They are hot. They're hotter than a firecracker. And definitely the original design of these Challengers and road glides was not to race in 99-degree temperatures around a racetrack. But for James Rispoli, none of that matters. Just Travis Wyman going down on the last lap will mean that Hayden Gillum doing the right thing, nursing his motorcycle home, whether it's pain for him, fatigue for him, or maybe there was something going on board that we don't know about.
Slowing down, you know, it did. And Kyle Wyman ended up crossing the line in 8th. So it would have been 9th had his brother not tipped off, and he ends up finishing 8th.
Well, this championship's closer than it was when we got here. We're going to talk to Rispoli when we come back.
MotoAmerica coverage on MotoAmerica Live Plus is brought to you by Geico Motorcycle. Visit geico.com to see how easy covering your ride can be. By Medallia, the pioneer in customer and employee experience. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Wow, what an eventful race, and this championship continues to be incredibly close here. But unbelievable developments here. Roger, you said right before the checker flag came out, how many times has Hayden Gillum in this season had guys in front of him drop and give him huge and crucial finishes?
And just, you know, that's part of it, just kind of picking up the pieces and being consistent. And for him to be out there and able to get second, he's got to be pretty happy with that after that what happened in that Superbike race. So for Hayden, painful, but, you know, just capitalizing on other people's mistakes. And James Rispoli, great ride by him, super fast, consistent. Yeah. He's just been consistent all year on the podium and gets a win today. And this thing's going to go down to New Jersey, but you have to feel for Bobby Fong. I mean, just incredibly bad luck. Just really disappointed for that. And for Travis as well. Yeah. Finally having a great ride this weekend and goes down. But Rispoli was the one that came out on top today.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, to me, the interesting thing in terms of the championship, the guys next door said that, you know, Kyle would have been 9th except if his brother had finished, but he ends up getting 8th. But I think he'd have been much happier with 9th than his brother finishing in 2nd, because that takes a lot more points, right?
You're right, exactly. Would have taken more points.
So, boy, I'll tell you, this one gets curiouser and curiouser here in this championship for the baggers. And, you see how heavy they are. Time to hear from them.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By Geico. Visit geico.com to see how easy covering your ride can be. And by Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson and custom V-twin motorcycles.
Time to celebrate for James Rispoli. The number 43 gets it done. Easy Rispoli. Trying to get that big motorcycle stopped. And he gets to celebrate with his team. He rode that thing so hard. Here to look at the results. 8 seconds the margin of victory between Rispoli and Gillum. Kyle Onsorg in 3rd, McWilliams in 4th, Jake Lewis Flinders, Hawk Mazada, Kyle Wyman, and Travis Wyman. So those two riders did pick up their motorcycles and get back into action. Let's get right down to Hannah.
James, incredible race by you. A lot going on out there. Kind of take us through the beginning of that race and how you were able to just remain consistent, ride your own race, and come out on top.
Man, that was a barn burner. First off, the Indians just got beautiful starts, and you could tell that McWilliams was in second. I didn't know if he was riding a 500 GP, just plug chopping her, man. I don't know if you wanted to check the spark plugs or what, because we were going freaking slow out there. But, man, it gave Tyler, that guy had 5 seconds. I don't know what happened to his bike, but, man, it was crazy. Bobby coming up the outside, skipping the chicane every lap. Stuff coming out of his bike. I'm like, do I push behind him or do I kind of back off? Because, what are you supposed to do, you know? Am I going to crash this thing or what? And then I'm just waiting. I'm like, where's Hayden? Where's Kyle? And then I check back, look at the tower in the middle of the race toward 2 laps to go, and I saw number 10. I was like, man, Travis having a little good one. And then I look out of the last corner, and boom, no one's there. I'm like, holy crap, I'm just getting the slowest race I've ever won, but we'll take it, and holy crap, man, I'm stoked. Woo!
James Roswell, today's race winner, just being congratulated here by Hayden Gillum, who finished in second, guys.
Yeah, that was entertaining, to say the least.
That's James.
Yeah, telling it and that's the real James, by the way, folks.
That's how he is. That's him.
All right, let's get back down to Hannah.
Hayden Gillum, second place today. It seemed like really strong start for you, but you were having kind of an issue. What was going on with you out there?
I'm not sure. I think we lost a little bit of power after lap 2, so I'm not sure what was going on, but again, we got lucky. We've had a couple lucky races, and we needed this one for sure. So it's 1-2 Vance and Hines. It's not a bad day. So I'll take this any day, even though I might not have fully earned it, but I kept it up on 2 wheels and did what I could, and me and the teammate. 1-2, not too bad.
Not a bad day for Hayden Gillum and the Vance and Hines team. Rounding out your podium is Kyle Onsorg, his very first in the King of the Baggers class. Take us through your race, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone. The team put in so much hard work this weekend. All of Indian Motorcycles, RSD, everybody. So grateful.
Big day for you. Kind of take us through what you were seeing out there as bikes kind of were moving all around. You stayed consistent.
Yeah, at the start, I knew we had a really good bike, a good setting. I was catching up with the group, got a bit of a bad start. Everyone bunched up. I tried to get underneath Bob in the group. Kyle slammed right into the side of me. Racing incident there, but from there I just put my head down. The bike felt great. I'd gripped the entire time, which is something I've been searching for all year. The bike died on the last lap. As I was battling with Jeremy, it just came to a complete stop. I'm like, come on, and didn't happen. But big shout out to everyone back at home, the whole Indian engineering facility, everyone that helps this happen, and just so grateful.
Congrats, Kyle Onsorg, rounding out your Mission Foods podium.
Here's a look at your standings. 2 points. Can you imagine?
Wow.
We only have 2 heading into the last 2 races of the year.
Wow, how close was that? And I got to say, Hayden said, I'm not sure I deserve this one. So he cooked a leg. Was in medical, came out, and as he said, kept it upright and finished second. So, and Kyle Onsorg, I always love to see a Minnesota boy win here. We have 1 round left of the 2023 MotoAmerica Championship season. New Jersey Motorsports Park, Millville, New Jersey. What are you looking ahead to there?
I'm looking for the Twins Cup race, title being decided there, and then also looking forward to King of the Baggers, title being decided there. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's always awesome the last race of the year. The guys just trying to leave it all out there just because they want to go in the off season. So I'm looking forward to going there. And New Jersey always provides really good racing, and you'll see when we get there, it'll be close.
Looking forward to it, that's for sure here. You can see the celebrations. James Rispoli loving every minute of it here. Folks, we have been so happy to have all of you join us here in MotoAmerica Live Plus thus far in the season. Please come and join us again at the season finale, New Jersey Motorsports Park, in a couple of weeks. Once again, for Jamie Howe, for Roger, for Roland Sands, who sits in with us for some of those races, I'm Greg Creamer. It has been not just a pleasure, but an absolute honor, and we look forward to doing it again at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Until then, take care, everybody.
Number 1 trophy. Take a look at race 2 highlights. Jason, it was something else.
You're going to leave this up to me and see if I can keep up with all the things that are happening here. Tyler O'Hara takes the lead early as he late braked everybody and literally just took off. And you can see earlier on there was a lot of battles coming in behind him as James Rispoli and Hayden Gillim were going to work. This is the thing that Onsword was talking about. The fact that Onsword came back from that and put it on the podium is incredible. But with O'Hara, who we said had a lot of bad luck this year, it continued. He was leading by a big margin, only to come to grief there. And you see Bobby Fong, his bike is smoking as he goes up underneath Rispoli. He would start to pull away, and the battle then started to become for those podium positions as you see Travis Wyman go past Hayden Gillim, who said he was losing some power. Bobby Fong finally pulls off, and man, he was frustrated. You don't see that guy. He's a pretty calm guy most of the time, but he was frustrated. Now, Rispoli takes the lead at the front, and then this happens to Travis Wyman. Unbelievable. Not used to seeing Trav do that. He ends up falling over, and that just bumps everybody up. That helped Hayden Gillim. That helped Kyle Wyman as well in the points. But it was this guy today. It was his lucky day. It was for James Rispoli. He earned it. 2:17.9 was, I believe, the second fastest lap of the race. And you see him here up on the podium with Hayden Gillim and Kyle Onsword.
Boy, this is going to be quite the final 2 races of the season when we get to New Jersey. Mission King of the Baggers does not disappoint. We can't wait to see you there. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. See you at Jersey.